In 2019, we witnessed history at the women's halfpipe. Shu Tong Kai took that third place spot alongside the talented Chloe Kim, who continued to show us her dominance, putting up a fight and finishing up in second. Both bested by Maddie Mastro, who made history by stomping the first double crippler in a competition. The halfpipe looks a little different this year. This is the women's halfpipe semifinals at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships.
The double crippler, she knocks it down, making history. Oh my goodness.
Welcome everyone to Vail, Colorado, and the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. A beautiful day out here in the mountains, and today it's all about women's halfpipe semifinals. I am Tina Dixon, joined by none other than Louis Vito and Kelly Clark to help me call the action. It's a two-run format. Each rider gets one run. The best score counts, and we will determine the top six who will make it to the finals. And we are going to jump right into action with the young Sunny Alba. 13 years old, out of San Pedro, California, also rides out of Mammoth Lakes, California. I was first introduced to her at Dew Tour just a few weeks ago, Kelly. What do you think of this young rider?
It's amazing, you know, coming straight through from the junior jam, getting an opportunity to compete in the semifinal with a chance to make the final. You know, this is what the Open's all about right here.
So coming through the junior jam, Sunny Alba, 13 years old, dropping in. She will be the first rider to drop in at the U.S. Open for the halfpipe competition. That is a tall order. And, you know, this halfpipe is different. It's different than what we've seen in the past. Louis, you've ridden modified halfpipes like this. What's your take on it?
Whatever you come in thinking, just throw it out the window, because you don't know what to expect until you get here. I mean, this is completely different course than we've ever ridden. No matter what modified pipe, if you've ridden it or you haven't, it's always different. And that's what I love. You just got to let your creative juices flow. And, you know, Sunny's been so great to watch because she's so young. And winning the junior jam, it gives her an opportunity to show everyone what she's able to do when she might not have normally had the opportunity to compete with the top of the top snowboarders.
Yeah, she just made the most of her first run there. Back-to-back 540s in the 22-foot section of the halfpipe. She's going to be happy. I think that's what you want to do. You want to land on your feet that first run, take some of the edge off, get the nerves off. They're right off the tombstone.
You know, what I love about Sunny is she's got pretty good style. For how young she is, you can already kind of see her personal style come out, which, you know, you might not see from a lot of riders until they get a little bit older, get a little more experience, but I love Sunny's style. She gets the grabs on everything, held it, and what a way to start it out. Come from the junior jam, which she rode the modified halfpipe in, but putting down your first run in semifinals with the who of women's snowboarding.
Yeah, at a score of 61.6 for Sunny Alba. Welcome everyone to the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. I am Tina Dixon, joined by Kelly Clark, Olympian, Olympic gold medalist, 8-time winner of this event, Louis Vito, Olympian. You've been on the podium here and just all-around great guy and knowledgeable. I couldn't be more honored to be sitting with two halfpipe riders that know a little, I'd say a thing or two about the halfpipe.
A little bit.
Yeah, we have some experience under our belts. We can give you some insight into what the riders are going through today.
Just a little bit. Let's talk about conditions today. It's a modified halfpipe. What's your take on the weather right now?
You know, it's going to be a pretty good day for halfpipe riding. It was, I like to call it snow globe snow this morning, kind of just flurrying, but it seems to be holding off. And the less snow, the better when it comes to halfpipe. It makes the riders go faster, and it just makes it not part of the equation. And it's
31 degrees, so it's actually warmed up from what it's been earlier this week. Very cold temperatures earlier this week. So that's good news that it's on that warming trend. The course is different than what we've seen in the past. Louis, take us through this.
So this is a modified halfpipe. We're going to start off with a 13-foot halfpipe, but you have those tombstones, which is, you know, just a little extension there. You get another hit after the tombstone, and then you can pop out to what is almost like a shark fin halfpipe wall to jump landing, and then you're rolling into the halfpipe. But you have the hubba where riders can pop off of that into the 22-foot traditional halfpipe. So we have a little bit of everything, a mini pipe, a tombstone, a hubba, a 22-foot half pipe. So many different options for these riders to come up with something creative, something different, and maybe even mix it up from run one to run two.
So the field looks like this. We are going to start with 16 riders in the semifinals. It will be cut down to 6 riders that will go into the finals. And the judging, it's overall impression. Kelly, you've spent some time with the judges. What exactly does that mean?
You know, they're looking at execution, they're looking at amplitude. It's really an overall impression between the big pipe and the small pipe.
And here's a look at our start list. We're going to start out with Sunny Alba. We just saw her compete and then go through the list. I like this. We see a lot of young up-and-coming riders, Brooke DeHaan, Zoe Kalapos, riders that have come through that junior jam, and then we're going to move on to the more veteran riders, Queralt Castellet, Shutong Kai, Maddie Mastro is in there as the defending champion. With this different format, though, this different half pipe, what needs to happen? Are they going to throw their full runs? And are we just going to see adjustments from run to run?
Yeah, I'm excited for the event.
All right, so second rider in the gates, Misaki Kakubari, 18 years old, out of Narima, Japan, and she's a new name. Don't know much about this rider.
I mean, you have that. There's so many good up-and-coming Japanese riders. I was saying this yesterday. Their technique is what really separates them from everybody. And if you watch them going across the flat bottom, their edging is just impeccable.
So she's going to start off her run just tapping that tombstone, getting right into that backside 540. Having a little bit of a trouble on that landing. Going to keep going up into the 22-foot wall now. She's going to use this run as practice. Nice backside air. She's going to link that right there. Start with the front side. Big 540. And wow. Backside 900. Nice. There you go. That's exciting. Backside 9. She's going to be looking to put that all together on her second run.
You know, the thing is, with the 22-foot half pipe, the transitions are so long and gradual. But when you throw a 13-foot half pipe, the transition's tight and quick, so it goes to vert really fast. And it's very difficult to adjust when someone where they're 18 years old probably haven't spent much time in a 13-foot half pipe, which is pretty funny to think about. But you see, it's just a little different. You have to ride it different than a 22-foot half pipe, and she just has a little bit of trouble on that backside 540. But you know, she gets in that 22-foot half pipe. We can see that she's more comfortable. And then she falls on a back 5 in the 13-foot half pipe, but a back 9 in the 22-foot half pipe, no problem.
Yeah, that speaks to the challenge of how small it is to ride, or how difficult it is to ride that small tranny. Everything happens quicker. It's over before you know it, honestly. It's half the size of the wall that they're used to riding.
So a 29.8. She'll look to her second run to get that backside 540 put to her feet. And you said, you know, that 13-foot wall going to a 22-foot wall. I mean, that is a quick change, too, in adjusting into how you're going to pop. Zoe Kalapos, 22 years old, coming to us originally from Detroit, Michigan, now lives here in Vail, Colorado, trains out of here. So the local. Being sort of this being your home mountain, added pressure?
Perhaps, or a little bit maybe added comfort as well.
I would say that. Comfort for sure. You're staying in your own bed. You know, you come to this mountain all the time. It's just another day riding.
She's a regular footer, making good use of that tombstone. Nice air to fakie.
Switch backside 360. Coming into the hubba, just pumping it right here, coming now 22-foot half pipe. So the traditional pipe, there's the front side 540 melon grab into the backside 5, building the speed as she goes. With the front side 720, a little back seat, but got her body over a board and ended with the cab 360.
So she's getting 4 hits in that bottom part of the larger transition. It'll be interesting to see today how the judges kind of weigh how many hits people are getting.
It's always fun to see the different approaches these riders have to the mini pipe and to using the tombstone, not to use the tombstone. You know, you watch Zoe when she drops in, she did a air to fakie to a switchback 3. Then you see her in the big pipe, front side 540, getting the grab. So back-to-back 5s, a 720 and a cab 360, which is switch front side 360.
Spinning
a lot of combinations.
Spinning every hit in that big pipe. you know, we're going to start to get a feel for what the judges are thinking and feeling and comparing between the two transitions.
Yeah, still really early on in the half-pipe competition. I mean, this is just women's semifinals. We're starting with 16 here, going to be cut down to 6. Zoe Kalapos comes in with a score of a 67.0. A good start for her, puts her into first place for the moment. All right, next up, Brooke DeHaan, 14 years old. I just saw her riding at Dew Tour, and she was impressing me with those alley-oop backside 360s that she was doing, those alley-oop 360s she was doing over the jump. Louis, you know her pretty well.
Yeah, I've got to know her this last winter, and the one thing that stands out to me about Brooke is how tough she is. She took a crazy slam at Dew Tour, got up, competed. She's taken a hard slam already here. I saw her at the top of the pipe, tears a little bit in her eyes, but she gets back up and she keeps pushing herself. And she's got a bright future. I mean, 14 years old and already competing in Dew Tour, US Open. And like I said, the toughness on her is what stands out, because that's what it takes to progress the sport and to be competitive in women's snowboarding. It's constantly evolving. There's that backside method to start things off in the 22-foot half pipe. Frontside 540, melon grab. Back-to-back 540s, and ending right here with the cork frontside 720 and just sitting down. You got to get that weight over those toes. Those walls are really, really firm. So if you stay on your heels, it's easy to slip out like that. So you got to get your weight over your toes to be able to ride out.
Yeah, probably not how she wanted to end that run, but that was a great run. You know, and watching her, she has the ability to really carry amplitude. Let's look at this backside air right there.
A lot of style with that.
Yeah, for such a young rider, being able to carry speed like that, it's always impressive. Right into the frontside 540, getting the grab. Back-to-back 540s, and this is where she had a little bit of trouble into that cork 7. Let's see what happened here. Just running out of wall a little bit under-rotated, not able to hang on in those icy, firm conditions there. A little too much edge pressure.
Just getting over that toe edge, and that's a stomp and a great run. But it's the best of 2 runs, so she can look to her second run to put that down.
Yeah, and we talked earlier that we probably will see these riders change up their lines potentially because this is such a new format. So next up, Tessa Maud, 16 years old, out of Carlsbad, California, also rides another one of those riders that came through the junior jams. She's won that junior jam before, back in 2016.
She's a great young rider. Got a bright future ahead of her.
You know what's great? What I love about snowboarding, live, not live, you just have time to tighten the bindings the way you want, get comfortable, and go. Because that's the thing, sometimes it's like you're on a hold, wait, you're up, it's really quick and you never know. But with snowboarding, we've always allowed the riders to kind of get into the zone. So we're actually going to skip Tessa. I think she took a hard slam in practice. And so we're going on to Leilani Edel.
So wait to see if Tessa will take her second run at this moment, and then we move on to Leilani Edel out of Munich, Germany. Surfer, skateboarder, snowboarder. She does it all. I've seen some footage of her surfing, and I'm like, oh, hey, wait a second.
She surfed the wave right there in Munich?
You can surf that wave. I've been in Munich, and there's guys walking down the streets with surfboards under their arms. And I'm like, hey, where are you going?
So she's into the mini pipe here, 13-foot transition, making her way down. Spinning into that big pipe.
Woo!
Wow. Right into a nice frontside 720. Catching the coping a little bit.
But can we talk about, she kind of was cruising in and then just aired the hubba half cab in and then just sent that first hit. And I feel like it almost surprised her going into the second hit because she didn't really slow down. She was like, I'm in it for the whole ride.
I've seen one hits from her in the half pipe that she just boosts out of it.
Well, and that's how that that entry into the big pipe is designed. It's designed so you can pump and gain speed. And right here, nice big frontside 7, and I think she was just carrying a little bit too much speed. Got a little bit back seat there, left a little early, clipping that coping.
you have to be so precise with a half pipe because if you're landing high, there's just such a small margin of error whether you're going to clip the deck or land perfectly. And she just clipped the deck on it, but it looked like she was aware she didn't get the pop that she wanted to bring her back inside the wall. But still, it was the glimpse of what she's going to bring run 2.
Oh yeah, she boosted on that frontside 720. All right, next up, Ling Shu out of China, 22 years old. And the Chinese recently have come on so strong. I mean, you have the veterans like Xu Tongkai, Jiayu Liu, but there's this younger generation now coming up as well.
That was sick. And that's I was riding practice and I haven't seen anyone go that big out of the mini pipe yet. And she did a frontside 720 and there's the crippler in the 22-foot half pipe. Backside air. And there's the frontside 540. Gonna squeeze in one more hit with the backside 540. And, you know, going back to what you're saying, Tina, about these Chinese riders is they're starting to invest in snowboarding. There's so many resorts in China, but you start seeing the half pipes being built there. They're being coached by Pekka, who used to be the Finnish national team coach, you know, coach like of Peetu Paronen, who is a stud half pipe rider, slopestyle rider. So they're doing what it takes to kind of build the team, and then they have riders like this that are just talented and willing to put in the work.
That is a big frontside 7, almost as high as the wall she's taken off on there.
You go back to late 80s US Opens. That was a big frontside 720.
That was a big frontside 720. Yeah, so unfortunately this will just be kind of a practice run for her, a throwaway run, if you will. She'll be looking to land her second run. I'll be excited if she lands that front 7 up top. Be excited to see what she can get done.
So 24 to start out with puts her into 5th place for the moment. Again, we are just starting out the first runs of 2 here at the women's half-pipe semifinals at the Burton US Snowboarding Championships. Up next, Haruna Matsumoto, 26 years old, out of Japan, coming off a big performance at X Games where she won that bronze medal, has been working on a 1080 all season long. You know Haruna pretty well, Kelly. How do you adapt some of those bigger tricks to this?
You know, I think she's going to look to keep her bigger tricks in the bigger half pipe and make the most of the smaller transition. I think the smaller transition lends itself to more creativity. So let's see what she's got here. Dropping in, heading up to the tombstone, getting a little tap there perhaps, and using the exit. And she is a regular-footed rider coming back around into the frontside 540, right into the backside 540. And this will be where we see some of those bigger tricks. Frontside 7 into the cab 720. Now that was a solid run. It's exactly what she wanted to do.
Yeah. Most her big tricks, like you said, in that big half pipe.
Yeah, the bigger transition lends itself to more landing time and higher amplitude, so that's kind of where you want to keep those tricks. She's going to be real happy with that. Something I love about her is she just is always enjoying herself no matter what. She's got a big smile on her face. The love of snowboarding is evident.
And right here you see just slapping it, little frontside air with a tail slap. And the first rider we've seen today that used the exit to get out of the mini pipe, and there's that backside 540 in the 22-foot half pipe. And front 7, building the speed as you go down the half pipe. And she held on. She got over those toes and was able to get that cab 720 to end her run. You know, the one thing I feel is she's a veteran. She's been to many U.S. Opens. She's been in, you know, a lot of the bigger contest finals, whereas this is the U.S. Open. It's stressful. Then you add this modified half pipe. Some of these younger riders have the nerves, whereas Haruna shows with a 75 and putting her in first place that, you know, this is just another contest. I've been here before, and I can put down a run to start it off and build off of that.
All right, standings look like this right now. Haruna Matsumoto moves into the lead with that with a score of 75. That is now the mark to beat, followed by Zoe Clapos in that second position, 67. And young Sunny Alba at 13 years old rounds out the top 3 for the moment. There were some questions coming into this event. What do we expect to see from the riders? Now that we've seen some of the riders go and some of the scores, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that it's starting out pretty well, and like I was saying, I feel like the veterans have a little bit of an advantage just because of the nerves. The U.S. Open's nerve-wracking because of the history and how legendary it is, and then you throw a modified halfpipe, which is completely new, and some of these younger riders have never even ridden a 13-foot halfpipe. All they know is 22-feet halfpipes.
They're not even old enough to have seen
That's the wildest thing.
13-foot transitions.
Yeah,
But
they're
to
like
see
13 feet, that existed?
them building, like, from practice day 1 to 2 to now what I'm watching first run in semifinals, it's exciting to see the progression already in such a short amount of time from practice to where we are now. And I'm excited to see because we've seen so many different approaches to the modified halfpipe.
It really forces you to be creative. It gets you out of your comfort zone. I was up there riding yesterday, and it was extremely difficult to put something together in that 13-foot part of the course. And the more days these women get to ride, the better they're going to be doing it, because what they came here with, however prepared they were, really got kicked to the curb when they showed up and they had to start again. So they're being forced out of their comfort zone, and I'm excited to see for the women, for the men, how this whole weekend progresses and what we're able to see come Saturday, come finals.
It's almost in true U.S. Open style, though, because in the early days, no one really had a plan. You built a halfpipe, you built the features, and you're like, we haven't really done this before, but we're going to do it. And that's kind of what we're doing here. All right, we're going to move on with the contest. Ruki Tomita up next. Out of Japan, 18 years old.
The younger sister of Sena Tomita, who's on the national team. And I've been saying this, Ruki just needs her moment because she's been riding so well for the last couple years that I knew it was only a matter of time before we'd start seeing her in these finals.
Yeah, it's all in the family for these guys. I'm excited to see. I'm more familiar with her sister, so this is going to be exciting to watch here. So she is a goofy-footed rider, heading in, tapping that tombstone, making the most of that nice little alley-oop, making the exit from the small pipe into the big transition, making the most of the hubba, gaining speed into a frontside 900, right into a backside 5. Up into the frontside 720. She's going to get one more hit with the cab 7.
What a great run.
New leader?
New leader. That was one of the best runs we've seen today. She's going to be really happy with that.
You said it, Louie. You said, watch out for Ruki Tomita.
You know, I've seen her doing these 9s, and she was so young and wasn't really competing at any of the big contests, and I was like, it's only a matter of time because her frontside 9, she can do large, and she can even do better than that, and that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great first run. I like the alley-oop. I'm a fan. Nice little alley-oop, and we're going to get another look at that frontside 900, getting that grab, spotting her landing, just coming around, putting a hand down quickly, backside 540. Nice frontside 7 with the grab.
Yeah, she gets that grab so solid. And, you know, the judges really look to see do they get the grab, and then do they hold on to the grab?
Because there's a difference.
Big difference. It's not just slapping it or letting go and whipping out. She holds it and makes sure that she's like, look, I'm grabbing it, I'm pulling it, and I'm holding it.
You know what I love, too, about the U.S. Open is all the kids down there. You've been there, Louie. You've been there, Kelly, where you're like, sign this. And these could be the potential riders that we see down the road in the Halfpipe Finals.
I mean, I was a U.S. Open spectator long before I was a competitor. I'd come and get autographs.
And why not would you want to get her autograph? She just scored an 81, is now our new leader.
So Ruki Tomita now sets the new mark, an 81, puts her into the lead with those beautiful frontside 900s. All right, Mitsuki Ono, 15 years old, another young Japanese rider who is just making her way up the ranks. She came through the junior jams, won in 17, in 18. I remember seeing her drop in at just the age of 13, and she was dropping in switch to those big 22-foot half pipes.
So she's a regular footed rider, getting ready for her first run here in semifinals.
Here's regular footer Mitsuki Ono from Japan dropping in.
Heading into the 13-foot wall, perhaps getting a little tap on the tombstone with another alley-oop. Setting up for the entry, pumping into the 22-foot wall with a frontside 720, heading switch into the cab 7, landing a little low, maintaining speed into the frontside 900 tail. It looked just washing out a little bit on that landing.
But her edging, I'm saying, the Japanese rider's edging is so amazing, and that's why she could build the speed in that 22-foot halfpipe. As soon as she got on the edge, she held it and just continued to build speed, where she, you know, started out mellow and then throwing the frontside 900 and getting a nice tail grab, just unfortunately couldn't land. So there's the tombstone, a little slapper. And then she does the frontside alley-oop, spinning frontside, but going up the hill on the spin. And then we get into the 22-foot halfpipe. Frontside 720, getting the indie grab in there. Into the switch frontside 720. And then here's the frontside 900. I was not expecting that, but getting the grab and just a little backseat and a little low on the wall and causing her to have to sit down. But
I don't think she landed that cab 7 as high on the wall as she wanted, and it scrubbed a little speed heading into that 9. She took it a little bit too far down the wall and got backseat as a result. So one thing leads to another in the halfpipe. If you don't land something perfect, it affects your next trick, unfortunately.
You know, at 15 years old, she's not even the youngest. We have a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old. It's insane.
Yeah. 30.8 for her. Moving on, Xiaotong Wu, 21 years old, out of China. I've seen her at a couple events, and I like her riding.
She's pretty much the next wave of Chinese riders after Jiayu and Tauntaun. So she's the next one coming, trying to get that slap on the tombstone. Goofy-footed rider, right foot forward. Now we're coming into the hubba feature. Get a little pop, build that speed. Into the backside 540 mute grab. There's that frontside 720 and just clipping the deck coming in. It's never fun because you're coming around and all of a sudden, right in the middle of the board, you hit the sharp corner and then it bounces you. It never feels good, especially when that wall is that firm.
She was going big, too.
And I think if she would have landed that, her next hit was going to be bigger because the Chinese riders don't hold back.
Yeah.
You know, less is really more when it comes to riding those big transitions. It's whoever gets from coping to coping better with less corrections. And she dropped into that 22-foot pipe and just stood there. And essentially, that's what you need to do. It's actually the complete opposite of the 13-foot transition, getting a little bucked there, where you actually have to kind of manufacture a lot of the speed. But she really carried a lot of speed into that 7 and just clipped the deck there on the way in.
She just took off a little early, so if you leave a little early in a halfpipe, a lot of times that'll throw your momentum over the deck. You want to wait until the nose of your snowboard is slowly coming out of the halfpipe, and that's the prime time to get that pop and snap to bring it back into the halfpipe.
All right, Maddie Mastro just had a birthday, just turned 20 years old, but let's look back to 2019 when she made history. Everyone jumped out of their seats when she was the first woman to land that double crippler in a competition.
You know, last year was that traditional 22-foot halfpipe. So there's that backside air. Look at the style on the frontside 540 stale fish, really poking it out. And then there's the 720. The grabs were just so solid. Cab 720, and then there it is, the double crippler.
Now that's what sealed it for her last year. You can see the difference between even last year and this year, how many hits in the big pipe the women were getting, and it's really going to change it up for these girls come this year in contrast. So I'm excited to see what Maddie's got.
So 2-run format, you know, in the other events that I've seen from Maddie, she would typically do a run with just the single crippler. And then if she gets that down, maybe the double crippler, it's only semifinal, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, and I think that's key today. I don't think we're going to see the double today. If she lands her first run and she wants to practice it, we might. But it's all about landing on your feet and putting one run down. She's dropping in here. Nice little alley-oop on the tombstone feature in the 13. Back-to-back alley-oops. Heading into that 22-foot wall, pumping in for speed off the hubba into a nice backside air. setting up here for the frontside 720, holding that grab all the way around into that hawk and flip. Just such good execution here into the crippler 5. So that's exactly what she needed to do. Top 6 make it through today.
You know, the thing is it's judged on overall impression. And one of the things that the judges are looking for is how the riders land on the half-pipe wall. And if you watch Maddie, a lot of her landings are high on the wall, and that's a big thing the judges look for because in overall impression, it's important. So there's that frontside alley-oop, grabbing stale on the tombstone, into the backside alley-oop, so spinning backside up the hill. So she got both alley-oops in. And then coming into the half pipe, and with it being less hits, you have to be strategic. So you didn't see the frontside 540 that you normally see her do in a normal half pipe, but you see the frontside 720, getting the indie grab all the way around, setting her up for the hawk and flip, a switch inverted frontside 720, and then the crippler to end. Coming around perfectly, spotted the landing, slapped the tail right at the top of the half pipe and put it down.
Yeah, you said the way she landed so high on that wall. I love watching that. And look at that score, 87.6. And Maddie Mastro moves into that first place position here at the women's half-pipe semifinals. What a start for her, just to give her that confidence and to be back here at the US Open. All right, next up, Queralt Castellet, 30 years old. And I think she is having some of the best, she's riding the best I've ever seen her.
Yeah, she's been on a tear this year. She's really invested in her switch riding this year, and it's just paying dividends. She's been riding so well, mixing it up, doing different runs. I'm looking forward to see what she can get done in this first run here.
You know, Queralt being coached by Benny Bright, Tora Bright, Olympic gold medalist, older brother. But you know, she will send. She's not afraid. She will literally give it everything she has in every run, and she's taken some of the hardest slams I've ever seen in half-pipe snowboarding, and get up and try again.
So mixing it up with the hand plant there in the 13-foot transition, I'm a fan of that. Dropping in to the large half-pipe with a frontside 7, right in.
Goofy flip. There's the backside 540 to end it off. It'd be interesting to see how the judges score the upper section. It was a little different than what we've seen, and I mean, the judges want to see creativity, but we're going to learn because nobody really knows how they're scoring this until we get into the competition. But then you see her strength in the 22-foot half-pipe and her really building that speed as she goes.
She fooled me there. She dropped in switch into that 22-foot pipe, so that first 7 we saw was switch.
That's a good thing. If you can fool us, if you're switch or regular, then that means your switch riding is that good.
There we go.
And you were saying, Kelly, she's been spending a lot of time on that switch riding. A good cab 7 right there. And, you know, Queralt is, like I said, she'll just take that line, whatever trajectory that's putting her on and whatever speed she has, she'll just let it run. There's another look there, the front side, or cab 720, another look from the bottom angle. Getting the tail grab on the front side, 540.
Right into the backside 5 to finish off her run.
So Queralt Castellet with that first run, a 65.1, puts her into that 5th place spot. And, you know, she's probably figuring out the judging just as much as a lot of us are, especially with those first runs.
Exactly.
All right, Shutong Kai. What a season she's been having as well.
She's been around for a while, and I call her Tauntaun, so if anybody hears me talk about her, her nickname is Tauntaun, and she's a solid rider. She knows, you know, everything she does, she attacks. She has a lot of confidence in. There's that method right off the tombstone into the backside alley-oop, method grab. She's one of those riders, too, that's bringing a different style to the half-pipe, you know, throwing in air to fakies into the middle of a run rather than just spinning all the way down. There's the front side 540 into the backside 540. Back-to-back 5s. And there's that air to fakie in the middle of her run, setting her up switch with a switch frontside 720 to end. You know, you see a lot of riders spinning down the hill, down the hill, down the hill. Well, she'll spin down the hill, maybe down the hill, and then slow it down with the air to fakie where you do literally nothing, come back out, switch.
You know, the top part of her run, I think, was the best we've seen that 13-foot wall executed up there. I think that's going to really pay off for her.
I agree with you on that. That was the best we've seen it, especially that top section. She really figured that out and then transitioned nicely into the 22-foot pipe.
Got a little bucked on that front 5, just barely missing the grab, but looking to recover here. The backside 540, getting speed back right into that 7 to finish up her run.
You know, the thing is I think a big aspect in the mini pipe is you have to ride it with confidence. Even if you're not confident, you don't really know what to do. If you ride with confidence, it shows. And with Tauntaun, she rides with confidence. Every hit she does, she says, this is what I'm doing, watch.
All right, so standings after run 1 look like this. Maddie Mastro is holding down that top spot with a 87.66. Ruki Tamita with a second 81.00. Haruna Masamoto, Shutong Kai, and Zoe Kalapos in that 6th spot. Now, Queralt Castellet is sitting in that 6th position. It's the top 6 that move on into the finals, so that's where you want to finish up. Yeah, you want to be, you know, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but really you want to be in that top 6.
You know, it looked like the top 7 riders, actually, only 7 runs were put down clean in that first round of competition. And so a lot of riders have yet to put down what they were looking to do. So this second run, I think we can see a lot of things mixed up. Sunny was just 1 spot out of the 6th. She's in 7th right now, which is awesome seeing the junior jammer end up in 7th place.
Yeah, that
after the first round.
13-year-old.
The only rider I think that I would say is safe is Maddie Mastro with the 87. After that, I mean, we have some riders that can be slotted in different spots there.
So potentially a double crippler on that second run maybe for Maddie.
Practice makes perfect.
All right, we will be back with the second runs here at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships of the Women's Halfpipe Semifinals. Right now, Maddie Mastro is holding down that top spot. We'll be back.
Focusing only on the next turn. Spending time in the mountains. Sharing real experiences with true friends. For us, it's more than just snowboarding. It's an escape back to reality. Offline Nitro Snowboards. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Jump into the world of snowboarding, terminology, tricks, big names, and how it all began. The ABC of snowboarding, now available on Red Bull TV.
For women,
Mathilde Vermont, Kelly Silderoux, Tess Ledoux, Jenny Lee Remembrances.
shake up the world of free skiing.
This girl is beyond talented.
X Games, World Championships, you name it, they rock it. A thin line between friendship and competition. 4. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to Vail, Colorado, and the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships live. We are in the middle of the women's halfpipe semifinals. I am Tina Dixon, joined by Kelly Clark, Louis Vito. We just got done with run 1 of the women in this modified halfpipe. Let's talk about your first impressions.
I was impressed. I didn't know how people were going to handle that modification in that half pipe, and the women rode that small tranny. Good use of the tombstone. We saw one hand plant. You know, I still think I liked Tong Tong's use of the small pipe the best so far.
You know, I really enjoyed it. Just watching practice and watching the evolution of the riding of the women has been great to see. But I like that you kind of get a glimpse of what's the potential there. Some of the riders that fell that weren't able to put a full top to bottom run. But like Zhu Tongwu, like she sent in the mini pipe the biggest airs we've seen in the mini pipe, but was unable to do a complete run. And even Brooke sat down on the front side 7 on the very last hit on the 22-foot half pipe. So there's some riders that I liked what they were putting down. They just were unable to do a top to bottom.
Yeah, well, we had a chance to talk to the riders earlier to get their first impressions, and here is what they had to say.
I always thought the US Open was the perfect event to go modified.
It's a new event, this modified thing, and it's different, and it's change, and it's progression, and it's interesting.
Mini pipe up top is challenging so far. I think a lot of us test us all a lot. We're all trying to figure it out.
It puts the onus back on the athletes. They can be more creative. So some things that wouldn't work in a traditional half-pipe contest, like hand plants and stuff like that, work really well in this. So for me, it's really fun to see what they come up with.
That's what I want to do, 50-50, and then come up tripler method over that. Drop in, dump chuck, 10, 10, 9.
So I think it's really important to figure out the first couple features leading into that 22-foot half pipe, then you get to your actual run.
After riding the 13-foot at the top and then dropping into a 22, it feels so bowly and fun.
There's Danny Davis. It just feels so fun.
That's what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's cool to see the behind the scenes and listening to the riders talking to their friends, the coaches, the camera, on their first impressions. And, you know, they had some weather earlier in the week, but they were still feeling it out. And you saw some people falling, some people trying different stuff. But that's what it's about, riding with your friends and figuring it out.
Yeah, the more time that the riders get in this modified half pipe, the better the show's going to get.
Well, yeah, and we were talking earlier about it, how when you watch other people ride too, it kind of gets you thinking about new lines, and you're like, oh, wait, I can do this. They're doing that, well, I'm going to try this.
Yeah, it really gets you out of your comfort zone as a half pipe rider, and causes you to really get creative and really see what you can put all together.
Yeah. We are also celebrating the life of Jake Burton here at this US Open. I would admit I would not be here without Jake. I mean, he changed so many people's lives for the better and brought so much joy to so many people's lives.
Yeah, it's what brought us all together in the first place. And on March 13th, Burton's actually put together a Ride for Jake Day. And basically 13 resorts around the globe are opening their lifts for snowboarders to celebrate Jake. If you go to a Ride for Jake Day, let me check to make sure, arideforjake.com, and you can register for one of the resorts. Register, get a lift ticket, and celebrate Jake.
Yeah, March 13th. Get out there, get on your snowboard, go make some turns, and enjoy the mountains and hopefully some fresh powder on March 13th. All right, we're going to take you back up to the top of the half pipe for runs 2 here at the women's half pipe semifinals. And this is the pressure situation where you have to make the top 6 to make it into the finals. But take a look at that half pipe.
Looks good. It looks fun today.
You look at the half pipe and then you realize that there's a whole upper section above that, and that's the modified portion.
So starting things out, 13-year-old Sunny Alba, riding out of Mammoth, California. She's sitting in that 7th place position. She wants to be in that top 6. It would be great to see a 13-year-old there in the finals. And Kelly, you said it, it's just a couple things she needs to change.
Yeah, she's got all of her jitters out after her first run. And her second run, launching off that tombstone into the alley-oop, coming up to the 22-foot section of the course, making good use of that pump track into the frontside 540, taking it a little bit deep, hanging on, maintaining speed into the backside air, and giving us a nice stale fish. Great, great experience for this girl. Semifinals at the US Open.
After winning the Junior Jam, which has been such a great aspect of the Burton US Open, is the Junior Jam, you know, a contest for the next generation to really compete against each other, but in a perfect setup like the US Open always has, and then giving the winner a chance to compete on the big stage.
Well, it shows that those junior jams work. I mean, riders like Scotty James came through those junior jams, and you come up through the ranks, you get practice here on the big stage, and then if you win that junior jam, you get a chance to be here in the semifinals, just like Sunny Alba here.
You know, another thing that's kind of random, but I always love too, is you get the full experience of the US Open, credentials, catering, you know, athlete lounge, being around these pros that you look up to. It's just a great experience for them.
And you get to sign autographs. So Sunny Alba, 13 years old, making the semifinals here at the US Open, finishing up her competition. She has got a very bright future.
She had a lot of buzz coming into this competition before even winning the Junior Jam, and that's just adding to it. So it's definitely, we're going to see a lot of her in the next coming years.
So she'll hold on to that first run score of a 61.6, putting her into 7th. She will not make the finals, but what a showing that she had out here, not only in the Junior Jam, but out here at the women's semifinals. Misaki Kakubari up next. 29.8 is her first run score. She's going to look to drop that and bump up a couple positions into that top 6.
So regular footed rider coming in, tapping that tombstone with the backside air in the 13-foot tranny, lining up to the entry into the big pipe, pumping through that hubba, getting into the backside wall with a backside air. Great amplitude on that. Into the front side 540, into that back 9, stomping it clean.
So I was in New Zealand, and she was kind of riding by herself, and I saw this back 9, and I was like, whoa, that is a really good back 9. So I had to meet her. We started talking, and that was the back 9 that I saw in New Zealand that made me just jaw dropped on that.
You know, it's so funny, on those big tricks, you almost kind of go on autopilot, and you let your board run a little bit, and I think that's just what she did there. Carried a lot of speed into that backside air right there, and she controlled her speed into the front 5. But here's that back 9. She just lets her board run. Great access on that. Comes right around.
I love the way she rode away from that too.
Yeah, double fist pump.
There's not a lot of women that do backside 9s.
There's not a lot of guys that do it like that. That is a good backside 9. The access was great.
Yeah. All right, so as we wait for scores from Misaki coming in, run 2, 56.8. And that puts her into 8th position, just outside of that top 6. But I'll tell you what, I will not forget that backside 900 from her.
No, that was great. There's a few things that she can tweak and adjust and would make a huge difference in the scoring for that second run. But what a great showing. Doing a backside 900 here at the Burton US Open. Definitely the biggest contest that she's competed in.
All right, Zoe Kalapos. She's currently sitting in 5th position right now with a score of 67. What she can do here is just try to improve that positioning. Maybe get up into that 3rd or that 2nd spot.
I'd like to see a little more amplitude in some of her half-pipe tricks, but she's got such great style and creativity like that. The heel side air to fakie into the switch backside 3. It's nice when you're sitting in 5th and there's just a little adjustments that's going to bolster your score a lot, but hopefully she can improve right here, dropping into the 22-foot half-pipe. There's that front side 540, holding the melon grab into the backside 540. And there's the 720. And then the last hit right here, cab 720. Just getting a little stuck, got to keep that head looking, but she did a 360 there last run, so she was definitely looking to up that score.
Yeah, it looks like she went a little straight up the wall on that. Maybe perhaps she was running out of room, trying to fit it in, knowing that she wanted to up her score, going for that 720. So there's that little air to fakie there off the tombstone into the switchback 3, which is an incredibly difficult trick in that tight transition.
And I like that as she rode down, her amplitude continued to build. And that cab 720, she gets it and then she looks back. You have to keep the head looking down the pipe to keep that rotation going and smooth. So she just got a little bit stuck there, but I've seen her do that trick quite often, and hopefully we see that in finals. But right now, sitting in 5th place, it's definitely a little stressful. You're not quite on the bubble in 6th, but you could be close.
So she'll hold on to that first run score of a 67. All right, up next, Brooke DeHont. Whew. She's in 10th right now, a 27.6. Louis, you were talking about how you've seen her just crash so hard so many times, pick herself back up. She had the run going up until the end.
And the thing is all she needed to do was just a little bit of a weight transfer over her toe edge, and that's a game changer. And how was that? The crippler off the tombstone, just landing on no tranny and sitting down. She's another one, young Canadian rider that's just constantly has improved this year, which is crazy throughout the whole season, just getting better and better. And, riding with these veteran girls, riding these big events, she's really seized the moment and really fed off the energy.
So 14-year-old Brooke DeHaan starting out on the tombstone with that crippler. There's not a lot of transition there.
It's a big cut today. She knows she had to make that top 6, and so she had to kind of put it all out there. And unfortunately, going down just on that crippler, popping a flat. It's so easy on those small transitions. We will not see her in the final, but this girl has an incredibly bright future ahead of her.
14. That's all I got to say. 14 years old.
What was I doing when I was 14? Oof. Definitely not doing cripplers at the US Open.
Off of tombstones.
Off of tombstones at the US Open in the semifinals. All right, give it up to Brooke DeHaan for going for those tricks. And she'll finish up in that 10th position for the moment. These are the days that you dream of to compete in. Just great weather. Tessa Maud will not be taking her second run, so we are going to move on to Leilani Edel out of Germany, Munich, Germany, currently sitting in 12th position, an 18.5 on that first run score. She boosted out of the pipe and then had problems on the hit after that.
All right, so we're getting ready for her second run. Regular footed rider. Alley-oop on the tombstone. Into the backside 3. Let's see. Coming back around to regular. That 22-foot wall with the big frontside 7. Just getting stuck behind a little bit, landing flat and washing out.
Kelly, I'm going to ask you this. Is it, you see these riders and she's going for that frontside 720 and she's going big. How much harder is it to do a trick with that much more amplitude?
I believe it's actually more difficult to do the rotations the smaller you go.
Okay.
But my coach always used to tell me if going big was easy, everybody would do it. And it's incredibly difficult to carry speed. So holding it all together while going fast is much, much more difficult.
And the other thing is she went a little flat. So when you're going that high out of a 22-foot half pipe and you're popping and not catching a lot of tranny, you're dropping and the impact is that much more. If she was going small and popped up the wall, maybe a 5-10-foot drop. But when you're going, 8 to 10 feet out of a 22-foot half pipe and you're landing low, you're just adding that much more height that you're falling from. And you saw that was what the compression was. She couldn't stand up and fight through that hard landing.
So next up, we move on. Lang Shu, 24.0 on that first run score. She's currently sitting in that 11th position. 22 years old, coming to us from China.
One of the 3 Chinese women we have here today.
Regular footed rider coming into big front 7, just trying to hang on, washing out in that top portion, coming into the 22-foot pipe with a big crippler. And the backside air into that front side wall, into the backside 540. Fortunately, with that washout, that run will not be one that counts for her.
It's tough with that 13-foot half pipe. You have to get your weight quick over your toes. If you're a little back seat, you're already in the flat bottom by the time you land. Whereas a 22-foot half pipe, you might be given a little bit of comfort to be able to slowly get over if you put enough pressure on your heel edge. But, it's just so quick. And you watch right here, left a little early, but just before you know it, you're already down the wall. Whereas a 22-foot half pipe, you have a little more training to make that adjustment.
Yeah, I went up and rode the pipe yesterday and, trying to figure out that 13-foot transition. I actually still go to my coach and ask him how to snowboard still.
Which
and
is
he
great.
said actually approach it at half speed because it's half the height and it's going to be over before you know it. And so I found actually going slower, heading into that small wall gives you a little more time to think because everything gets sped up. So if you approach it slower, you have a little bit better chance to kind of pull it together and land on your feet.
So there's the current standings right now. Maddie Mastro is still in that top position. She'll be coming up later. Right now, Haruna Matsumoto, 26 years old. She's sitting in third, so she's looking really good. Has a score of 75. Really put together a nice run in that 22-foot half-pipe section on that first run.
You know, and she's got some bigger tricks, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those sprinkled in here when she gets into the 22-foot part of the wall with the air and the tap, and I think she uses the exit here.
Yep. Really the only rider doing that, yeah.
Now coming back around to regular. There we're gonna see that front side 900 taking it a little bit deep, going a little straight on that wall.
Just leaning back on that takeoff. You saw as soon as she took off that it was gonna be coming into the flat. Not gonna catch a lot of transition on that. But with a solid first run score, she's gonna look to hope that the 75 will hold up. And the waiting game begins.
So Haruna Matsumoto finishing up. She'll keep that first run score of the 75. We saw her going for bigger tricks there. She also has a 1080 that she could potentially do in the finals.
She's been doing that 1080 for years. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it, if she makes it through onto the finals on Saturday.
I wanted to see more riders take that exit that she did. Take that jump and then drop into the half pipe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the judges reward that moving forward.
You know, it's so difficult. You got to have enough speed out of the mini pipe to air to that. But Haruna, you know, really standing out by being the only woman today using the exit so far.
So Haruna Matsumoto's job is done for the day. She's just going to enjoy signing some autographs here at the Burton US Open, and why wouldn't you? Let's take a look at the standings right now. Queralt Castellet is sitting in that 6th place position with a score of 65.16. She still has yet to take her second run. Shutong Kai is sitting in 4th. She still has to take her second run with 70.83. Haruna Matsumoto 3rd, Ruki Tomita 2nd, followed by Maddie Mastro still in that top position. So the judging is, you talked about that a little bit. It's overall impression. What does that mean?
That's a great question.
Tell us, Kelly.
So let's see. Let's go through the list. We've got execution, creativity, progression, trick difficulty, amplitude, variety, and combination of tricks. So all of those elements are going to be taken into an overall impression. I believe there's a panel of 8 judges here looking to see, you know, who's spinning every way, who's executing their tricks, who's landing high on the wall, who's carrying the most amplitude. You put all those things in the mix it up and do that all right, it's going to land you up on the podium there.
And make it look good doing it. You want it smooth, top to bottom.
I always look at half pipe riding, and if I'm hiking that side of the half pipe and I see you running, I'm like, ooh, that looks good. That to me is kind of that overall impression.
Exactly.
Well, and I think for the viewer, you have the ability to then say, I think that run was good.
Yeah.
I may not know everything about snowboarding, but that looked good to me, and that's kind of what they're going for here.
All right, well, we got a chance to talk to the head judge about what overall impressions, what that really means. So let's hear from him.
So typically we'll weigh execution fairly strong, trick difficulty is up there, variety, as well as amplitude. So for the top section of the pipe, we're definitely going to look at variety and less on the amplitude because it's a 13-foot pipe. As well, because there's different features in there, we can add a criteria because it's a modified pipe, and we can use course use. In a typical pipe, we won't be able to use course use because it's the same pipe all the way down.
So there you go. Overall impression.
Straight from the judge's mouth.
Straight from the judge's mouth. All right, we're going to head back to the top of the pipe. Ruki Tomita currently sitting in 2nd position. What can she do here? She's looking pretty secure to make it into the finals. So does she try to do more tricks, more difficulty?
I would say just try to clean up what you're doing. Maybe if there's something you want to practice, but she's in. She's in the finals. So this is just an extra bonus run. I don't think you really need to, you know, go for broke on it, but just maybe try to clean it up a little bit. And if there's something that you want to practice or see how the judges are scoring it, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, and the higher you place in this first round, the better your pole position is going to be when you get to the final as well. So if she wants to drop last come finals, she has an opportunity to do that right here with this run.
Popping off the hubba right there, a little melon grab into the front side 900. Much cleaner than run number 1 where she put her hand down. Into the backside 540, front side 720. She's already cleaned it up so much from run number 1. And there's that cab 720. So I thought that was a lot cleaner, especially on that front side 900 than run number 1.
Everything seemed on point. The timing, where she landed, how she connected her tricks.
Well, and I think that's where that execution comes in. You know, like we were saying, it's so important to combine that with the amplitude and execute very well the high trick difficulty with that front side 9. That's going to improve her score, I believe.
So she had an 81 on that first run score. She was sitting in second position. This run, cleaner, bigger. Watch the landing on that.
She lands better on that front 9, is able to carry so much more speed into that next wall.
You know, overall, I think that was definitely a better run top to bottom. It's nice that, you know, she got the little touch on the grab there, but overall, you know, it's just building the confidence, especially having the confidence going into the final.
So just waiting for Ruki to meet a score. She's in the finals. And at this point, it's just a matter of, Kelly, you said it, where does she drop? Right now, she would drop second to last at the moment.
Yeah, they run in reverse order from qualification, from semifinal to final. And that can be really helpful come a final.
Well, we saw it yesterday in men's semifinals, slopestyle. That's what Red wanted to do. He was sitting in 10th position, and everyone's like, you're taking a second run, but you're already in the finals. He's like, I don't want to drop first.
No one wants to drop first. So they're taking their time, trying to figure out where they should put her. I think it's going to be an improvement for her. That was a much better run than we saw.
Do you think it's better than Maddie's?
I don't know. I have to ask the judges. That's above my pay grade.
An 88.5, and she is the new leader. She moves into that top spot.
I think that 900's the separator, and to do it so clean and to land high, I honestly believe that's the big difference maker between she and Maddy.
All right, so now the standings look like this. Ruki Tamita in that top spot with an 88.5. Maddie Mastro now is in second, 87.6. And Haruna Masamoto still in third with a 75. We still have a couple big names to go and riders that still did not land their first runs.
Yeah, there's a few riders left to go that can really mix things up into these top 6.
So Masuki Ono is one of those riders that could potentially do that.
15 years old, coming from Japan. Regular footed rider, left foot forward. There's a little tail slap on the tombstone. Into the front side, alley-oop, getting the Indy. And then rolling in, coming to the hubba. A little pop off the hubba into the 22-foot half pipe. And there's the front side 720. She had trouble in run number 1 on her front side 9, which should be right here. She's going with the front side 540 tail grab into the backside air. So changing it up, didn't have the confidence going into the front side 900 or the speed maybe, but opting still just to put down a run on her feet and adding the front side 540 tail grab.
And that might have been a game time decision there, landing low. She wasn't going to have the speed for that front 9 like we saw in that first run, so I think that was actually a smart call going with the front 5.
And it's crazy because you only have seconds, split seconds to make that decision. Do I go for the 9 or do I hold back and go for the 5? And she opted for the 5 just because of how she landed on this cab 720.
Just landing low, and you just lose so much speed, missing that transition. Playing it smart, going with the front side 540.
Well, it is going to be an improvement for her. At this point, it's just a matter of how much of an improvement.
The judges, you can see it right there, debating the score, writing down their scores, inputting them. It's never easy, especially at this point in the competition. You know, we're almost done with the second runs, and, you know, literally every point counts. So they have to really think about it, and if a rider landed, okay, where do we put them? Sometimes it's more about the slot than the score.
Yeah, getting the rank right is very important.
And the range, because you still have some people to go that could mix it up.
So look at that. It's 67.6. Bumps her up into the top 6. She's now currently sitting in 5th.
So moves Zoe to the bubble, and Queralt is just on the outside looking in.
So exactly, Queralt Castellet will still be coming up for her second run, but she's sitting outside of that top 6, as is Xiaotong Wu, sitting in 13th. And she goes big.
You know, she was unfortunate and couldn't put it down in the mini pipe. So looking to see, just to clean up this upper section, to be able to get in to the 22 half pipe. Just back-to-back straight airs, popping off the hubba into the 22-foot half pipe, carrying some speed though. Big backside 540 into the frontside 720, where she clipped the deck last run. And there's the cab 720.
That amplitude is pretty impressive.
I think that's going to do it.
But where?
But where?
Because very simple and basic up top in the mini pipe, and then a true half pipe run down at the bottom.
And I'd like to see the replay again to see some of the execution of her grabs. We're going to see it's those small things that can really separate people. So here is that top section.
Going almost too big, looking to slap the tombstone and just missed it.
So there's that 720. Now here, I think, can't quite see if she got that grab. I'm glad I am not a judge today.
The judges, you know, they are video judging, so they see multiple angles of each trick, so they're able to see, did she grab? How did she grab? How long? Those are things that the judges see that sometimes our angle we might not be able to see. Even if you're a viewer at the bottom of the half pipe, it's hard to see. But the judges usually don't miss that.
Yeah, you can't let anything slide by those judges.
No more faking it these days. You used to be able to fake it a little bit, have your arm down there when there was not video judging. Now, you can't get away with hardly anything.
Oops, I grabbed my boot. Hopefully nobody saw it. Nope, they saw that. They saw it.
You know, we have some of the best judges here, and we have quite a few judges. You know, some competitions you have less, but we have a big group of judges, which makes it great because they do talk. They do bounce things off of each other, and I think you get a good average score out of that, so it's not just what 3 people think. You know,
yeah.
You have a wider variety of some of the world's best judges sitting there scoring this, which they should. We have the best riders here. This is one of the best competitions in the history of snowboarding. We want to have the best across the board judges and riders.
Yeah, this is such a special event. All right, scores coming in. A 68.8. She improves by 55, bumps her up into 5th place for the moment. So
Zoe bumped off.
Zoe's bumped out now.
She's bumped out. Queralt still on the outside looking in.
So that means she's pretty much secured her spot. At this point, Mitsuki Ono could potentially get bumped out by Queralt Castellet.
Yeah, big shakeup in these top 6, these last few riders here.
But before all of that, we're going to go to Maddie Mastro, who is now sitting in 2nd position. She just did the single crippler. It's just a matter of where she wants to drop, really, in the finals then.
I'm going to say I'd be surprised if she does a double crippler. It just depends on if it's more of a practice run or you're trying to get into first place. If you go into first place, clean up. You want to practice double crippler is how I view it, but look at that. Big air on that backside, kicking out the method, and she's just going to be cruising through the 22-foot half pipe, content and happy with the 2nd place finish. And why not? Why risk it? You don't need to. If she must be feeling pretty confident on the trick she has going into the finals, and they'll get another practice day.
Yeah, and she nailed it on that first run.
Yeah, tomorrow's a practice day for them, so all the finalists are going to work out what they need to do to get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, today it was just about getting into the finals, getting into that top 6, and Maddie Mastro has done her job.
You notice that's probably something she wants to practice, that frontside alley-oop off the tombstone into the backside alley-oop. And then she has the confidence. She rides the 22-foot half pipe all year, let's just get some edging, get some amplitude, have fun with it, but walk out of here, because a double crippler is a trick that you can get wrecked on. Why put yourself at any risk doing any tricks if you don't have to? And she has all day tomorrow to work out the kinks in the 22-foot halfpipe with her bigger tricks.
Yeah. Save it for the finals.
Exactly. So I probably would agree with that. I would have done the exact same thing. James Jackson, veteran coach, helping her out up at the top, and that's what I would have done as well. But this is the run to watch right now.
All right, so here's the situation at the moment. Queralt Castellet is sitting outside of the top 6 in that 8th position. She absolutely needs this run. Now, she kept it relatively conservative.
In the mini.
In the mini pipe.
She was one of the only riders to do a hand plant, but she did get 3 hits in that top section, so we'll have to see what she chooses to do here. So, goofy-footed rider coming in, going backwards, back to regular, and here's where we saw that hand plant. She's going to stick with her plan. She has all the experience in the world to pull this off. Now heading into that 720. Now into probably a setup trick here, into probably a backside 900, trying to get it around. She knew she had to step up her game to make that top 6, and unfortunately, that isn't going to do it for her today.
You know, there's a few things that I think, you know, similar to slope style, little bobbles in certain sections can throw off a whole run because it's all how you land. So her half cab, she came in, or her front 1A, she came in, she kind of hit her heel, so she didn't have the speed she had in run number 1 into the cab 7. You can see right there, which put her a little bit low. And then I feel like that kind of threw it off just a bit, the straight air. She's thinking about the back 9 right there. Okay, I got to do this back 9. I got to get this back 9. And just kind of slinging it a little bit, leaving a little early. And they didn't get the solid pop to be able to get the nose around and kind of washed around on the wall.
You know, and it could have been one of those things where maybe she wasn't thinking she had to do a back 9 today to make that top 6, and maybe it was something she didn't plan for and didn't get to practice, and so not getting that pop, not getting that snap that she needed to get that trick around.
But Queralt, such a strong rider. It's rare that you see her not make a final, but it's not the end, because we're going to see her probably again in the final next year.
Well, yeah, and she's had a great season leading up to this as well. And a Locks Open win, the X Games Gold, won that Grand Prix at the beginning of the season. All right, the final rider here in the women's semifinals, Shu Tong Kai.
Already in the finals, a cruising run. Look at that big backside alley-oop in the mini pipe. I know, Kelly, you said you were impressed with her amplitude in the mini pipe and how she rode it.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like it. So here we are. She's not taking a practice run. She's going for the frontside 900, right into the backside 540. I love that air to fakie. Slows down her run so much into the cab 7 to finish it off and just sliding out. But she's in the final. We are going to see her on Saturday.
If you can have style in between the runs, in between the tricks, if there's such a thing, which there is, I think she has the best. The way she just stays so compact, and
the less you see, the better. Honestly, the more composed and put together your body is in that flat bottom. I love that grab.
Frontside 9, kind of like a tuck knee around the knee on the indie grab, into the backside 5. Got a little wild and then grabbed, calmed it down, and there's that air to fakie that she does so well.
Just landing really high in the tranny on that, carrying speed into this cab spin. But you know, it's interesting, as we move towards Saturday, the riders are going to be going faster and bigger. I wonder if we're going to start to see that fourth hit in that big pipe get muscled out as they travel further and go bigger.
You know, I think that was easily a landable trick, but when you're sitting already in the finals, I feel like you don't have that pressure that I have to land it. You don't have that hunger as much to land it because she's sitting in fourth. She could go to first, but she was sitting in a good spot. But when the contest is on the line, you're in the finals at the Burton US Open, that's something that I know that she would muscle out. And because she doesn't have a half speed, you know, she could have easily just taken a practice run or a cruiser, but Tauntaun always just goes for it.
Yeah, and that's what happens at the US Open too. You see these runs in the finals and you're like, where did you pull that out from? Like, there are some runs that have happened at the U.S. Open, including from some other people I know, that you're just like, it's the finals brings out the best.
Well, this event, where it is in the contest season, it's at the end of the year, so people have spent an entire winter getting their snowboarding to where it needs to be. We see some of the best riding happen at this contest every year because everybody's warmed up and firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and today really was just that warm-up day. We're going to take a look back at the winning run for the women's semifinals. Ruki Tamita, let's take a look.
You know, Ruki Tamita, so young, the younger sister of Senna Tamita, who, what a great role model, somebody to really push your riding from the time you probably started snowboarding. She came in and took that top spot where Maddie Mastro was holding it down after run number 1. And there it is, little tail slide 5-0 across the tombstone into that backside alley-oop, just so relaxed, just cruising it, which, you know, really translates into your overall impression score. Pops off the hubba, getting that melon grab, and there it is, that frontside 9. She just had to clean it up from run 1, and she did that so much better, which really translated to the rest of her hits. When you land high, you don't scrub any speed, the rest of your hits are bigger and smoother.
So Ruki Tamita, when it comes to the finals, will be dropping in last. She finished up first here. Finishing up second was Maddie Mastro.
Maddie's got to be happy with putting down that first run today. Big weight off the shoulders. Now she can focus on what she needs to focus on for Saturday. I think anytime you make it through to a final, it's a huge relief. I almost found that semifinals were more stressful than the finals.
100%.
Once you make it through, you know, sky's the limit. So here's her run from today. Heading into that tombstone, little alley-oop with the stale fish. Into the alley-oop, back-to-back alley-oops. Heading into the big pipe. Pumping for speed over that hubba into the backside air. Now mixing it up a little bit with the frontside 7, choosing not to do her front 5 that she's so well known for, into that hawk and flip. And there is that crippler to finish it. Nice, stock, solid run for Maddie.
And one thing I noticed too is she just looked confident today in that half pipe. We actually have Maddie Mastro down on the course. Maddie, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys? You guys sound good. I like the things you're saying about me.
Well, you rode well. Your crippler at the bottom, the way you landed on that wall was perfect. Take us through the process, first of all, of riding this modified half pipe and putting together your run.
It's been a challenge for me. I came in with one plan, and I was holding on to that plan up until yesterday with my hands wrapped around it, not wanting to switch it up, and it wasn't working, so we had to switch up things and find new rhythms and routes through it, and it was quite a challenge, but I enjoyed it, and we made it here, so.
Yeah, you rode so well, Maddie. This is Louie. I just want to say that was sick. And, you know, it was cool to see you have to mix up. Normally we see that frontside 5. You just not even doing that, doing the frontside 720. Tomorrow, what does tomorrow look for you? What's a practice day before a final look for you?
I think I'll probably come out and practice a little bit. Not too much. I want to conserve my energy, but there's definitely a few things I want to work on and find hopefully another creative line through that mini pipe section. So I'm going to snowboard a little bit, but not too much.
That's always a good plan, not wear yourself out. This is Kelly, by the way. I miss you.
I miss you too so much. You made me smile when I saw you at the half pipe yesterday.
Well, we are so looking forward to watching you on Saturday. I love that you mixed your run up today. It looked so solid. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers to finals.
Yeah, here's to finals. Let's go.
Looking forward to it. Have a great practice day. We'll see you in finals. Thanks so much, Maddie.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Bye,
all right,
everyone.
Cheers. Bye. All right, we're going to take a look at the standings now after the women's half-pipe semifinals. And these are the top 6 that will move into the finals we will see on Saturday. Ruki Tamita with that first place position. Maddie Mastro in second. Haruna Masamoto in third. Shutong Kai in fourth. Xiaotong Wu in fifth. And rounding it out, Mitsuki Ono. That's going to be a great finals. I'm surprised, though, and shocked that Queralt's not going to be in it.
You know, it is surprising, but this is the Burton US Open. We have some of the best riders in the world here. And this is an event to me where you are going to find somebody new. They're going to make a name for themselves here.
All right, well, stick around for highlights. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back with some of the great footage of today's women's halfpipe semifinals. We'll be back.
Shred all year long on Red Bull TV. Be prepared for anything.
Is it weird that I'm just like naked in this?
The best snowboard movies and live events on one channel. Backcountry, fun parks, and street spots. We love them all.
Could stay out here forever.
Snow is our passion. It's what we live for.
Woo.
This is the future for sure.
So nice.
Follow us around the globe on the hunt for the perfect pal. The Snowboarding Channel on Red Bull TV. Available anytime, anywhere. Together, they discover peaks, shred inner city rails, and draw lines on untouched slopes. Some call it a tribe mentality. Others call it a shared sense of purpose. It feels good to be part of something special. The Collective, Faction Skis, now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back to the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships here in Vail, Colorado. We just wrapped up the women's semifinals in the halfpipe. The top 6 have been decided who will make it to the finals and compete here at the very special US Open. What do you think of today?
I thought it was awesome. I didn't know what to expect. I think the riders didn't know what to expect. But, you know, looking at the entire semifinal, you know, the big halfpipe seemed to weigh the most. I didn't see anyone who set themselves apart in the small halfpipe. It really came down to those big tricks and the big transition in a traditional halfpipe sense. We'll have to see if that gets mixed up from when we see the boys go, if that changes at all. But for the women, it still seemed like the big tricks counted.
Absolutely. We actually will see, speaking of the men, we will see the semifinals in the halfpipe for the men later on. For you watching, if you want to participate in a survey and you can get a chance to win a snowboard, go to burton.com/US Open survey and you can fill that out and also win your chance to win a snowboard.
It's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
It's a really good deal. I might be having this.
Also here at the Burton US Open, we are celebrating the life of Jake Burton. He was so instrumental in so many of our lives and creating a path that so many of us followed, including my own, and brought so much joy to so many people's lives. On March 13th, we are going to have a Ride for Jake Day. If you go to
It's a ride for Jake.
A rideforjake.com, and it will give you the details. You can fill it out. There's 13 resorts that you are participating that you can actually go to and ride and participate in that day to help just really celebrate snowboarding.
Exactly. I was going to say, celebrate snowboarding and have fun. You know, the one thing that was great about Jake and Donna is at the US Open, which is, like, again, the most historic snowboarding contest that they started, is they were at the bottom celebrating, having fun. They were like super fans. Even though they created this all, they just love snowboarding. So it's a day to celebrate Jake, but to celebrate snowboarding and being with your friends, being out on the mountain and enjoying the gift of snowboarding.
Absolutely. I know. It really is just such a special thing. Once a snowboarder, always a snowboarder. Get out there and ride. Make some turns. March 13th. Remember that day. All right, we also have the Cliff Best line. Louis, take us through that.
You know, I love this. I don't even know if I can call it an event, a competition, whatever. It's for the riders. You know, it can be anywhere on the mountain. Just film a line anywhere on the mountain. You win $10,000. You submit it. You can split it however you want. Give it to your friend that pulled out the phone and followed you for that line, or all day trying to get that line. But it's just fun because it brings it back again to snowboarding. It doesn't have to be in the park. It's not on the course, so it doesn't have to be on the park. It can be dropping cliffs. It can be going fast, carving. It's what snowboarding is about, is being there with your friends, filming it. And we actually have last year's line right here, just cruising.
Shrelbing that part.
And that's the thing, you know, Rene's known for just how fun he can have on a snowboard, and you put anything in front of him and he'll make the best of it. And this is through the Vail Park at the top of the mountain. And, you know, you just ride with your friends and bust doubles on that. Mellow.
Must be nice.
You know, that's what I love about it, though. $10,000, Cliff Best line, one line, anywhere on the mountain, submitted, just one take. There's no editing in this. This is just Rene just cruising the mountain, probably not even going to practice, just enjoying snowboarding here in Vail, Colorado, because it's such a beautiful mountain to be on. It's so big.
I love watching Rene ride. I absolutely love it. So if you like what you see and you want to watch more, don't forget to download the Red Bull app. You can download it on your mobile phone, and I love it because I can just be walking anywhere, still watch some of the footage, jump into the big world of Red Bull TV. Don't miss breathtaking events, films, and shows from all over the world. Download the Red Bull TV app for free, sign in, and watch everything offline too. Go beyond the ordinary. And also, don't forget to get social. We always like to get social here at the Burton US Open. You can use those hashtags. Hashtag Burton US Open, at Red Bull Snow, and at Burton Snowboards. I know you guys have been getting social all week.
Got to share it, you know, whether you're watching at home, you're up here in Vail, you're competing, use the hashtags, use the ads, because we all want to see. It's a community. I want to see what other people are, how they're experiencing the Burton US Open.
It's always good stuff to check out too, and check out what your friends are doing, what other people are doing. And do not forget to check out later on the men's halfpipe semifinals. This is going to be a contest. Scotty James has been so dominant all season long. Even last season, he was perfect. But coming into this, he took second place little less than 2 weeks ago, so he is going to be on fire and wanting to win here at the Burton US Open. So coming up later this afternoon, it is going to be the men's halfpipe semifinals. What can we expect?
Well, I think it's the same going in that we said going into the women's semifinal is we don't really know, because every day the riders have been adjusting and adding to their bag of tricks in this modified halfpipe. That I'm interested in seeing the progression from yesterday's practice to today's practice for semifinals, because they're up there right now riding, getting ready to put on a show. But I can guarantee there's going to be a lot of big tricks, because it's a hard cut. The riders list is insane, and to make the top 10 is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. I think we're going to see some big tricks in that 22-foot halfpipe. We're going to leave you for now. Do not forget to watch the men's halfpipe semifinals coming up later this afternoon. Thanks for watching, and we're going to leave you with some highlights from today's event.